What's up, y'all? How everybody doing? I hope your weekend was blessed, protected, and safe. This is your boy Gerald. It is the 2nd of December. Yeah, I know I've been on a feverish pitch putting these videos out, and if you've been tracking along, that's great. But if you've been watching them at your leisure, that's even more. But it's all about the message. So all the message is all about the message. Now listen, I just got out of class and I stopped at the store buying cigarettes, right? And there was this man sitting in the store, and every day, I know that every time I go in that store, I see the same man. So I knew that was a synchronicity point for me to interact with this man. There was something about this man that there was some knowledge that he had that was meant for me. So as I'm about to leave the store, you know, I greet him, and he's older, so I say good morning, and all of a sudden my spirit kind of just opened up a little bit. And I asked his opinion on a certain situation, and the response that I got was, he told me, he said, "You're very wise for someone that's young." Well, I mean, I'm only 44, but I've gone through some things, and now that now that I'm on my spiritual journey, not only do I have clarity on and understanding, but things that may have had relevance or a reference point that was like over my head or visible, but not knowing it, it makes sense. It's like putting pieces to a puzzle, but the puzzle is your life. So it struck me so deep in my spirit, I mean, I was moved. So I had to share this for somebody. See, I understand. The one thing that you're going to learn about people is there is a commonality amongst us all. That is why the phrase "each one teach one" is so priceless. But it's us, because we have free will to decide when and where we decide to get the message. Sometimes the message is presented in a way of illusion. Sometimes that message is sent through action. Sometimes with subtlety. See, I understand. See, we as people, our whole goal is to be harmonious, to evolve. But the kicker is navigating your life. So if you're going through something right now, because now we're in the midst of season's greetings, Christmas, New Year's. This is also a point where many will reflect. You'll reflect on where you've been, what you've done, how you did it, and to a degree, it may foster moments of joy, moments of sadness, moments of understanding, and moments of chaos. But see, I understand. See, it isn't easy living your life, but not until you make the decision to claim who you are. You've got to claim who you are. When you decide to claim who you are, you take accountability on what you do. You put ownership behind your steps. It gives you validation for what you manifest. So I understand, I truly do, Because like many of us, we have experiences that are similar, some unique, some that have a reference that will spark something deeply buried within you. See, I understand. I don't judge you because I'm not ready to be judged. But I've also come to learn this, how merciful your higher power is. Some of you right now are dealing with a shame that is so intense that you've got to find a way to escape from the daily reminder of what you've chosen to do. There is a solution for that. You've got to forgive yourself, but you've got to ask forgiveness from Him, the higher power. I know Him as my Lord Jesus Christ. And I'm telling you, y'all, I'm telling you, when you decide to trust Him with your life, you'll be able to trust people who try to get access to it. Your discernment will be your navigation for your steps. Some people are so broken that they seek love in dangerous ways. Some people don't want to even sleep in their own beds because they feel alone within themselves. So they seek the confounds of another only to be lied to. See, I understand. I done been there. You can make it through. But you've got to validate your worth. You've got to. No one can do the work but you. So, the first thing that you can do, if you want to have the life intended that has your divine name written on it, and all the blessings that come with it, you've got to claim ownership of your life. As you already know, no one can do anything to you unless you allow it. Because if they had dominion, then why aren't they in jail? Or worse. You do know when you make decisions and choices that are not in your best interest, you will see them again. You do know that, right? We know that is karma. But I know it is divine intervention. I understand because I've had my spiritual storms. And I've had to come to understand this one thing. The fact is, like-minded attracts like-mindedness. There's this whole philosophy of opposites attract. No, that's not true. That's what society wants to teach you that. That's where the connection of each one teach one. But you've got to have a commonality to first open up the line of communication. So therefore it is free will and choice. You've got to own what you choose. But it should not be at the expense of your heart. That is your most prized possession. Because think of it like this. The person that you once were is not the person who you are. The person that who you're going to be is relying on the person you are now, the decisions that you make. So you always have the ability to change. The people that don't have your best interest will come and go in your life if you allow that. But just if, just by chance, the desire that feels that within your spirit that conflicts you from your steps, because I've come to learn this. If your actions do not match what you speak, you're a hypocrite. You're a walking contradiction. And that stark revelation I had to learn. But here's the beautiful thing about that. Even through pain, the things that you may take as bias or are hypocritical or it does not apply, you will see through the people that you're connected with. The reason this happens is because God loves you so much, He brings you back through those seasons to validate that you got the message. Your life is worth more than a stolen moment. Your life is worth more than a broken truth. Your life is more because your legacy is going to live beyond your days. Now I know y'all saying, Gerald, where is all this coming from? What made you put this out? I'll tell you. See, you know how that saying goes. You can fool some people some of the time, but you can't fool the people all the time. Well, see, as I embraced my spiritual walk, another revelation was revealed to me about myself, or who I once was. Little did I know that emotionally I was running from myself. That was the reason why I lost my smile. That was the reason why at times I was unapproachable, or could have been to some unbalanced. Because see, I was in turmoil. I didn't want to accept the fact that I had taken a position of arrogance, selfishness, and condemnation. But when you turn around and step back, first of all, you're gonna pay for each and everything that you do. Please take that heed. Please take heed of that, because you know how they say God has a book of all your deeds. And the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I felt unsettling in my spirit. I started thinking about the actions and the choices I made in my youth, and how reckless I was with my body, and the deception that I embraced for a stolen moment, and the shame I felt realizing that I didn't see how priceless my life truly was. And each and every time, God was with me. I think about all the times He had sent me signs through synchronicity of saying, turn back, turn away. This isn't the way. They're not right. And I chose, because of my ego and pride, to go forth, only to be hurt. Let me tell you something, y'all. If you ain't figured it out by now, let me save you some unnecessary heartbreak, heartache. Because the reality is this: no one will feel your pain but you. No matter how hard you try to mask it, no matter what you do, come on, move out the way. Excuse me. I don't want to play right now. No matter what you try to do, there may be some of you right now that drink. You drink your pain away every day, thinking, well, if I could just make it through the day, then I'll be okay. Listen, if you're ready to truly have the life you need, you got to own what you've done. You've got to own it. You got to own who you are. Your spirit requires it. That's why some of you may be going through financial hardships because of choices from your past. And it serves as a reminder of what not to do. So the question I need to ask to you is this: when you gonna get real with yourself? Huh? When you gonna be real with yourself? Because every day that you take to turn a blind eye, or put yourself in harm, or make choices that are not sound, you're basically saying, I don't see my worth. I don't see my value. Why can't you fight for yourself? Because the world owes you nothing. The world owes you nothing. Taking the role of a victim gets you but nothing, but by yourself. That is why I say to you, my friends, my subscribers, and those who may be stumbling on this video right now, if you got some emotional issues going on and you don't feel emotionally safe to speak it, write them down. Write them down. That's the first process of healing yourself. But if it's deeper, because I've come to understand this, and I know I'm not crazy, we are living in a society where what is considered, where bad is considered good and good is considered not. You have so many people walking around broken, wearing a mask, and they're crying for help through their actions. If you hear anything out of my voice, do the greatest gift that you could give yourself. Get help. That's the greatest gift that you're going to give to yourself. And do what's required so you can heal. And now granted, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not judging, because like I said, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes because of selfishness. And don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for where I am, where God has moved me to be. But I think about the things that should have happened. The things that if I only trusted Him, where my life would be. Now don't get me wrong, Gerald is great. Gerald is great. You know, I don't have any cares in the world right now. But I also know the devil's never, his work is never done. And the last thing that you want to do is do this, or do this, or try to figure out what you said, or try to mask what you did. Because guess what? Here's the irony of it all. Those are your memories. No one else will have them but you, your experiences. So make sure that your memories don't become your nightmares. And you become a prisoner in your mind. You're doing time in your mind. Because guess what? One thing's for sure, the people that love and care for you, they're going to always be there. But things will be different. Because guess what? We have free will. And if you don't make sure that you are in the best shape, you can't put that burden on the next person. So in my last video that I put out not too long ago, remove the pride, remove the ego, and invest in your heart, invest in who you are. And I say this to my kings, it ain't easy being a man. You ain't alone, my man. You not. But you need to get to a place where you feel emotionally safe so that you can talk about the things that haunt you. If you do not do this, what is going to happen is you are going to find yourself in a cycle of despair. Your life will become nothing but a turnstile for other broken people. Deserve to have the life intended. You got to do the work, y'all. But until you do, you do understand that there are people that have chosen to settle. You have people that deliberately will come into your life just to wreck it. Do you understand the devil's work is never done? The devil don't want you to be at peace. He'll attack your mind and then eventually attack your body. Don't give him a foothold. I know there's somebody right now that your heart is aching. It's aching. But yet, the irony of it all is you don't want to take ownership in your part. Listen, learn from it. Learn from it. That is why you're feeling the pain that you feel, because your heart is being transformed. It is being made deeper. It is being made bigger. And when you truly get to a place where you are emotionally safe, guess what will happen? Guess what? Your position will matter. You will truly understand what it means to walk with a life of compassion, kindness, and love. You will embrace your discernment because you see your worth. My queens, I can't stress this any more than I have. Stolen moments only give you pain. The reason why this happens and why it plays out, because the person that you've attracted in your life has the same exact traits that you have emotionally. They're just like you. But because they fooled themselves, they don't claim what they do. They project it. They turn around and say, it ain't me, it's you. But your spirit says, no, it's not me, it's you. So see your worth. See your worth, do the work, and let God guide your steps. And the reason why I'm saying this is this. You know how I mentioned before in one of my past videos? As you start to find wholeness of your life, because you're embracing your spirituality, because that's the only way you're going to have the life intended for you, is you've got to make the greatest sacrifice of putting God first in your life. There's no ifs, ands about it. If you think that going through your life on autopilot is going to give you or yield you the results that you think, no, it's going to put you way off the mark. And depending on how far it's gone, you're going to be somewhere where you never thought you was going to be. So, trust God. He will protect His children. But you got to claim Him first. And I'm going to bring this back around, because at first I wasn't going to speak on it, but I think somebody needs to hear this. When you turn around and do what's required for you, not only will you have your jagged edges will be made smooth. I think it was the Commodore that said that. You will have a new perspective on life, and you will see your purpose. But get this. God will bring that person back around into your life. You're going to see him again. You're going to have to see them people. Every door that you went into, you're going to have to close one by one. And some of y'all, man, it's going to take forever to close those chapters. But as long as you start, start. That's why soul ties wreak so much havoc in people's lives. That's what fosters the generational curse. If you saw a mama with a bunch of men saying, oh, this is Mr. Jenkins, or this is my friend, but he don't stick around, well, guess what? Everything that you say and do, if you, God forbid, if you have a child, she gonna look at that as a template. He gonna look at that as that's normal, and it's not. And what happens is as they develop, they're gonna take on them same traits. That's how a generational curse is formed. It is formed off of actions that are not blessed. Don't you deserve to be protected? Don't you? How do you, I mean, really, if you don't see your worth, you can't expect somebody else to do it for you. Because if you keep that same mindset, guess what? This is what's going to happen. You're going to get used. Your body's going to run down. And you're going to feel spiritually depleted. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you go into the club, anybody can go to the club, but if you go in there with the sole purpose of meeting a significant other, guess what? You're going to find Mr. Right Now, Mrs. Right Now. And guess what? Depending on who it is, they're going to give you something that you can't get rid of. Don't put yourself out like that. Don't play yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. I know somebody hears that. But for myself, I cannot, and it is not my place to live your life. Therefore, I won't judge. Every day is another day that I perfect who I am. Because see, I know I'm a good man. I'm one of the good ones. I am. And I say that out of love, not out of ego. Because everybody eventually has a testimony. And you want to make sure that your testimony reflects who you are. Not part of you. Not just a fraction, the whole person. And that is why I truly believe God will bring people in your life for two reasons. Number one, they are your taskmasters. So all the hardships and things, the lessons you've learned, some of y'all going through it right now where your heart has just been beat to hell. And you're like, you know what? This person has put me through so much, but I still love him. I still love him. You know why you feeling what you feeling? Because they're the physical manifestation of you, just in a different form. That's what's going down. So, as I say to you, my friends, because we are extensions of each other, don't walk into 2014 broken. Don't do that to yourself. Don't put your power in someone else's hands. Protect your virtue. Love yourself. Allow yourself to heal. If you turn around, and I'm speaking on this, if you turn around and have this mindset, as someone once told me, to get over someone is to get under someone, well, guess what? It may be fun in the beginning, but what you fail to realize is you're going to inherit their blocks. And you're going to feel their pain. Because guess what? Someone did the same thing to them. You got to sever that tie. Sever that tie. Ask your higher power for forgiveness. Speak their name. Whoever it was. And even if you can't remember who it was, the fact that you're attempting to atone for that, ask for forgiveness for that, it will free you from that bond. If not, guess what? They're going to live in your memories. They're going to haunt you. And then you'll start going through a season where there's a bunch of reminders. But let me throw this out, because I done broke 30. I didn't want to go this far. Just know this. If you living right, you are deemed one of the good ones. You keep doing what is best for you, because trust when I say this. When you're one of the good ones, you're never forgotten. You're never. And it doesn't matter time or space. They will remember. And depending on how deep the connection is, you're going to see them again. But just hope for those who may have transgressed against you. Ask for forgiveness. Don't curse their name. Just keep the faith that their deliverance will come, and they'll be made new. And they too will have a story and a testimony. And they'll be able to aid someone else that once walked in the shoes that they once, the path they walked on. Because that's what God wants. Okay? I know I'm talking to someone. My queens, if you're tired of men mistreating you, then you got to stop mistreating yourself first. Hear that. And when you decide to own your choices, because those are your choices, guess what's going to happen? That anger that you have, that sparks you just like that, it will subside. Though you may cry, baby, cry. Purge those emotions out. And I'll do one further. Even if it's a family member. Because I know, unfortunately, we don't have the right to pick our parents. And I know that some of you may have gone through something where your parents did not love you. They treated you like livestock. You were more or less you were the parent to them. And you feel like you were robbed. You're thinking to yourself, why me? Why do I have to grow up before my time? See, God was preparing you. He was preparing you. But you got to be able to see it. Because if you don't, the things that you resent, the things that you resent, you will become. Do you get me? So, for example, if you had a boyfriend that all he did was be abusive to you, that same energy is going to possess you, and you're going to do the same thing because there's no release. If you had a boyfriend that didn't see your worth and all he did was cheat on you, call you out your name, disrespect you at any beck and call, you've got to release yourself from that pain. If you don't, and you take a position of ego where you say, well, you know what? Johnny did this to me, and I'm going to do that to whoever. Guess what? Not only are you going to pay for that tenfold, because you're going to pay for it, but what's going to happen is when you least expect it, somebody's going to come into your life and do it right back. Your heart is not... Protect your heart, y'all. Protect your heart. Speak the truth and define your conviction. I can't do it for you, but I pray for you because I'm working on mine. But it's okay because brighter days are ahead. And here's the thing. And if you connected with somebody and it seems like no matter what you do, they're never at fault, everything like the world owes them. I'm going to tell you what's going on. You're dealing with somebody that has narcissistic tendencies. That means there's an imbalance in their mind, so their view on life is jaded. They need help. They need help. It's a very self-destructive pattern. You'll see it. But what's more even dangerous is the effect that it has on the people that are in connection with that person. You got to be very careful of that. If you look back in your life, you probably had to deal with narcissistic people. You know, it was that, you know how the, like, you know that parable, do as I say, not as I do? That's a narcissistic pattern. So basically saying, no, I'm going to lay the law down because I'm going to have control and dominion, but I am not judged by the same standards. You can't have it both ways. That's why you can't play with God, because every time you try to do something, He's going to pop you right back in line. And it shouldn't be based, the price shouldn't be your happiness. So my king, see your worth, dog. See your worth. Stop running behind your boys that ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere because they're waiting for you to do the same. Follow your heart. Because if you don't, you're going to end up like another statistic. A life gone wrong. There's a lot of people that are incarcerated because they didn't see their worth. There's a lot of people that have brought children in the world that wasn't ready because they didn't see their worth. There's a lot of people just doing a bunch of bed hopping because they don't see their worth. If once you decide to see the value of your life, you will have clarity in your direction, but you got to have courage. You wasn't brought on this planet to suffer. I know I was supposed to tell somebody that because it came out. So my mom, just know this. Every time a man tells you something sweet, but it ends up with a price being paid by you trying to figure out where your shoes are, you're going to pay for that. He ain't the one. Because I'm going to tell you what, the one, that one, they'll move mountains to just see your smile. But they can't do it until they see theirs. So place God first, or your higher power first, y'all. Stop kidding yourself. Stop looking at what you see on the TV. It's only there. It's only there to change the way that you view the world. They don't want you to think. They don't want you to be the beautiful individual that you are. That's why they constantly are attacking our values. That's why they're constantly putting women down. They degrade women every day. They look at men as inferior, especially our black men. Society look at black men as laborers. That's all you're good for. We know that ain't true. That's why I don't claim that. But I am responsible for my actions. So I wanted to put this out because I felt moved. I know I have been putting a lot out, and if you've been following, thank you. But just know, anybody can change. It just depends when that light bulb goes off. You dictate that. And here's another thing too. If your circle is not trying to better you, uplift you, by leading by example, they're really setting you up to fail. They don't want you to grow. If they're not pushing you for you to nurture who you are, and they're telling you things from bias, they're basically saying, I don't see your worth. And I can't see your worth because I can't see mine. So let us both be in misery together. Don't do that. Okay? Alright. Well, y'all, like I said, I appreciate your patience. I am truly thankful for you allowing me in your life for a moment. I hope that the message I've conveyed resonates in your heart, because look, we are very, if you guys just saw how precious your life is, no matter what the challenge is, no matter what it is, if you're not dead, you can get through it. You can get through it. But you can't do it until you start by loving yourself. It starts there, y'all. That's why God is love. And that's why I represent Him. I represent Him in my walk. I do. Because your actions speak louder than any word that can be conveyed. Okay, y'all, I hope you have a blessed week. Feel free, if you're going through something, you can inbox me, let me know, and I'll pray for you, because I know that somebody somewhere prayed for me. We're gonna get through it, y'all. As I always say, God's praying for you. You know I am. Stay blessed.